What's good, you guys? Today, originally, I was going to talk about these right here, but something just came in from JD Sports that I am hyped to talk about. Now, this is a new model from Asics, which is basically like an amalgamation Frankenstein type situation of a bunch of older models, and I'll get into the details of that later. But these all come together really, really well. And I ordered this shoe on Friday, which I believe was the launch day, and I already got them. So shout out to JD Sports on that super fast shipping turnaround time. But this shoe is just wild, so let's get right into it. Today we're talking about the Asics Gel Sekiran. Now, just one little update before I get into those is with the Gel Nimbus 10.1 Invincible collab. I told you guys I was going to let you know if I ended up cutting those panels, and I definitely did. And honestly, I think it looks a lot better. I just used this, which you can get at like craft stores and stuff, and that cut a really nice smooth line across it right to where it touches on the midsole. And the other thing that I've been seeing some comments about and been responding to is about this deconstructed tongue, so I thought it was worth mentioning. After putting some more wear into these, it does become pretty obvious the irritation you're going to get on that tongue versus the original version. So just something to think about if you do end up picking these up. But anyways, let's get into these new joints and talk about the Gel Sekiran. Now, first of all, they are marketing this as a brand new model, which is sort of true. This is the first time it's been marketed to the US market, but these pairs already exist. So if you go online, even on Asics' website, and you check in other countries, there's a bunch more of these that already exist, and some of these that are already even on sale. But I would just use this as a point of reference to like foreshadowing the future. So if you don't want this exact colorway, this lineup that's already out there is basically something that you're going to be able to get as time goes on. We have US releases coming in September and May of some of these that are already out there in other places in the world. But getting into the shoe itself, this is called the Pure Silver and Gecko Green colorway, and on the toe box you get this really nice tumbled synthetic leather panels that wrap all the way around, and then this crazy bright lime mesh that's super open and it's probably going to be really breathable. Moving to the lateral side, you get these underlayments that kind of have an ombre fade that go from this dark emerald into like a medium emerald, and then the logo itself comes in white and adds in more of these emerald through lines, and that's all trimmed out with a chrome outline. And then up at the very top you get another hit of that chrome tumbled material by the top lace loops, and then the ones that come off the logo itself are in this fabric material in emerald with this dotted white pattern. On the heel you get a combination of two different textures. On the outside, where you see these really aggressive lines, you have that tumbled effect again, and then on the center panel where you have these green hits of the gel logo, you get that brush metal effect that I've seen on the hidden Gel NYCs. And then the heel's just finished off at the very top with another hit of that lime mesh. When you get to the medial side, it's almost kind of weird because it's even somehow more aggressive than the lateral side. You have way more of those panels with those aggressive through lines and that tumble material, and then you do have those like rubberized faded ones towards the forefoot. But I mean, I don't really have a preference. I think both sides of the shoe just really look good. On the lacing system, you get them in this dark emerald color, and then you have that mesh lime tongue, but at the top of the tongue you get a split where all three different types of meshes that are used meet, and they're kind of divided by this chrome portion. And then that logo, in my opinion, really pops off the shoe with that rubberized material and that lime and black. The back of the tongue sort of protrudes to the front in that darker emerald, and then the sock liner and insole are all in that same dark emerald color, and then the Asics logo on the insole is in that hit of chrome. The midsole continues that triple stack of different shades of green with that light emerald and the dark emerald, and then the gel pods at the forefoot and towards the heel come in this like cloudy chrome that almost makes it just look liquid. And on the medial side of the midsole you get the imprinted IGS branding, and this midsole is actually the identical one that's used on the Cumulus 17, which is what I meant by Frankenstein shoe. I'll get into that more with some visuals so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The outsole comes in this lime green with kind of a weave pattern to it, and then towards the forefoot you get the Asics and Gel branding, and running through the center of all that with this darker emerald green is the guidance line system, and then you have this split midfoot shank design in this chrome color. Now, like I said before, this is just the debut launch colorway for the US, which I'm totally cool with because obviously my preference would be green, so I'm good with these. But like I said before, if you guys want to get any of those other colorways in the future, just keep in mind that those are going to be the ones coming up. Now, as far as fit, like I said, I just got these in today, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's one of them ones where you put your foot in and you're just like, yes, this is what I wanted. I mean, just walking around the house in these, I can already tell there's no irritation that's bothering me or anything, and these just feel good, like supportive in all the right ways, soft but responsive. I think it's going to be a good shoe for anybody who wants to pick it up, and I would recommend going true to size. These are kind of just about as snug as you want to be. If you half size down, it's going to be a little bit too pinched, and if you go up, there's just really no need for that unless you're trying to put really bulky insoles in here. Speaking of which, let me pop the Move insoles in there so I can give you guys a reference on if that's going to work or not. Okay, so with the Move insoles in here, it does make the shoe a little bit tighter by the crest of your toes right here, but not enough that I would half size up still. I'd still go true to size. I will probably put my Move insoles in here, even though they are comfortable. I just like a little bit more of the support on the arch and the heel cupping because my feet are just super flat and my arches are gone. But that's just me, and overall I feel like 99.9% of people are probably gonna have zero problem with these just straight out of the box. So end of the day, I would say true to size for sure, and definitely a comfortable shoe, so you really can't lose with these. Now, like I said, they're pulling models out of the archive for this and creating sort of a Frankenstein situation. The three main ones that you'll be able to visibly see the references to will be the Nimbus 13. Looking at this side-by-side image, you can see that's where those underlaid gradient panels come from. So they're taking that and adding that into the upper aesthetics. The other model that they took components from for this is the Cumulus 17. If you look at these side by side, I don't have a pair of Cumuluses in hand, but it's pretty obvious that that midsole and outsole is identical, so that's where that's coming from. So anybody who's had a Cumulus 17, you know exactly what to expect for feel and underfoot experience with this. And the third shoe that they make reference to is the Cumulus 12, and I can't really see too much of an inspiration from that. Maybe towards the heel where that kind of aggressive overlay lines come in, and then the other main thing that I thought was a pure reference to that shoe was those lace loops that come off the top of the logo there. I think those two things in general are about the biggest references to that shoe on here, but the main thing is that Nimbus 13 and that Cumulus 17 outsole and midsole. And as far as on foot, these are like a super nice hybrid because you get this new aesthetic mixture that makes the shoe way more aggressive, but with that Cumulus 17 tech on the outsole, you get a really wide base that I feel like is nice. I have wide and flat feet, and these just really feel like every part of my foot is supported, and I have like zero arch, and on the inside there's a nice cushion you can feel that's kind of bolstering up that arch area, so I like that also. And on the ankle collar, you get a good amount of cushioning that kind of locks you in there, not in an uncomfortable way, but just like a pillow kind of holding your foot in. If I had to compare these directly to a model that I already have, I would say the closest resemblance is to the Gel NYC, but then on this one, the Sekiran just feels even more comfortable and more like bolstered up with that cushioning. But overall, I think this is just gonna be another hit model for Asics because I mean, just the aesthetics alone are sick, and then they already are coming out with all these cool colorway options, and then you add in the fact that these are actually super comfortable. I mean, I don't think anybody's really going to be able to deny this shoe. And last but not least, the box is just basically standard, your regular cardboard Asics box, but you do get an extra set of lime green laces if you really just want to pop these things off. But that's going to wrap it up for my review on the Asics Gel Sekiran. I'm super happy with these, and with a price point of $140 and was free shipping from JD, so $147 all in. I don't think you can miss with this shoe, and I highly recommend anybody interested checks these out. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and remember, life's short, so buy the shoes.